Hi everybody, Dave Life Car Build. Today we're going to put a water pump on a 2003 Buick LeSabre 3.8 liter. It's really a pretty easy job. I'll point out to you what we're going to be doing, and then from there we'll just go, because there's not much to it. It's right in front where it's pretty easy. Excuse the movement, but I'm going to show you. There we go. Water pump's down in there. Right there, right up in the front. Sorry about the lighting, guys. All we gotta do is we're gonna take the belt off here. We're gonna take the pulley bolts loose first. We're gonna use the belt to hold the pulley still. Then we're gonna take the belt off. Then we're gonna change out the water pump. And it should all be pretty easy. So you guys can just watch and follow along. Okay, that wasn't so bad. Okay, we're going to take these bolts off and we're going to put them in order. that we took them off. We're going to choose a position and we're going to go clockwise. And when we put them back together, we're going to just reverse it. It could be bolts that are different lengths, you never know. And they need to be in the same place they came from, just in case. Okay, that's the last bolt. Hopefully the gasket comes with the pump. Well, some of the gasket came with the pump, but we can use this to help see where we got to scrape. So let me get to scraping that. We got to clean that up with a razor blade, scrape off the gasket. It needs to be good and clean, but you don't want to scratch it a whole lot. So do the best you can with a razor scraper or a gasket scraper. Scrape it off. This is actually a pretty good razor blade scraper, and it's nice when it comes off in big pieces. It's got to be good and clean or it will leak. All that old gasket's got to come off. Okay, that's actually pretty clean, so now I'm going to get myself set up for getting the gasket in place and getting the water pump at least loosely installed. And we'll go from there. The gasket's off, it's good and clean. There's some staining that I won't be able to get off, but the stain doesn't mean anything. It's just a stain. But all the paper gaskets off. You got to be careful that you don't leave paper that looks like it's gone. It could be on there but smoothed off, and there'd be a hump there and you won't really know it. So check that really close while you're scraping the gasket off. I'm going to apply glue to both of these surfaces. I'm going to put some on the surface of the gasket too. Not too much. Can you see that? Just a very, very light coating. Now for the next guy, it might stick to this better. When the water pump comes off, be less gasket to clean off the motor. It's a possibility anyway. Now I'm going to go ahead and put it in place, and there's little tabs on there that might just hold it on. So I'm going to put it in place, but we're going to talk about these bolts. Actually, let me show you. I hate to keep jerking the camera around, but I want to show you this. Alright, you see in there? Right there. This bolt and this bolt goes into a water port for sure. This bolt more than likely does. That bolt, I'm not 100% sure. I don't like to put any bolt into a water jacket hole without some sort of a sealer or silicone. That's just my preference. I didn't see any on there when I took it apart. Makes no difference to me. I don't want pressurized antifreeze to find its way through those threads and come out and be a leak. So I'm going to put a little bit of RTV on these bolts when they go back in. So we're ready to go ahead and start putting this thing back together. So we'll take the first bolt we took off because they're still in order. Makes it real nice when you do this. Keep these things in order. I'm going to go ahead and just barely snug this one so it holds the water pump up against the engine. There we go. Now, the first one that goes into the water jacket. And really, that's enough. It doesn't take very much. The next one needs this. Okay guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten up these two on the top. I'll do one of them, then I'll do the one that's in the middle on the bottom, and then I'm going to do the one that's on the right on the top, and then I'm going to spread it out. I'm going to lay it down. So I'll show you with the old one. So I'm going to tighten this top one in the middle, then the bottom one, and then this top one, and then I'll spread it out, work my way out and lay these down so that we don't warp or crack this. I'm going to do the last of the small ones on the left upper when I'm facing it, left upper. Then we're going to switch to the big socket and we're going to cinch down the ends. Okay, there we go. We're ready to put the pulley back on loosely. Well, snug it. We'll make sure it's good and tight when we get the belt back on. Yeah, you're going to want to make sure you get this pulley back on right. There's several choice holes in the flange. And the back of the pulley, in this case anyway, has a couple of little tabs on it that kind of set down inside of a hole. So you want to make sure everything is seated the way it should be. So make sure you're paying attention to that. Okay. Time to get the belt back on. We're going to finish getting this belt on. Get the coolant in it and we're done. You see, taking pictures just saved me the hassle of not knowing how that belt goes back on and having to fight with it. The sticker on the car is gone, so that's the whole point of taking pictures before you start. You're going to want to check and make sure the belt's in place on every pulley. It's pretty important. It won't come off all the time just because it's not on right, but it will shred. You'll be replacing it regardless. Okay. We're going to tighten up the pulley. Then it's just filling the antifreeze, but don't forget you need to purge these. There's an air release on the thermostat housing. You take that loose, fill it up, let it run with that loose, purge the air, tighten it up, take it out for a spin, make sure you got heat. No heat means there's an air pocket in there somewhere, usually. In most cases, when we're working on these kind of things anyway. So check all that, and if you have to, bleed more air out, get some more fluid in there, see if you get the heat working. Okay. Put your antifreeze back in, we'll replace it, test it for temperature, you're done. Get the air out, test drive it. Have a good one, guys.